I was diagnosed with cancer in 1997. My life was perfect. I had just gotten married. I had gotten married in 1995. And so I was still in the honeymoon phase. And so everything was perfect. And we were ready to build the house with the white picket fence and the minivan and the kids. And then you hear those horrible words and everything sort of stops. It was really my mom that was there the whole time, and that's why family is so important. She was there the whole time, and she was there for the, for the surgery. She was there for the radiation. She was there for the recovery. She was there for the lymph node dissection, and so she was really, really there for me. So my mom was great, but I was lacking in information, pure information. Because it's not like I was spending a Saturday afternoon looking at breast cancer many, many years. This just comes out of the clear blue for any woman that deals with breast cancer. So it's not like you know that information. So information is vital. And I think that was what I was lacking. When I was told I was clear, which is a 5-year span, you have to be 5 years, and then they say you're clear. It is euphoric because you reached a milestone, and it's a huge milestone. So being clear for 5 years. The other thing is that my husband and I wanted to start a family, and we were not allowed to even try within that 5-year span, because that's when you are most likely to get breast cancer again. So of course you don't want to be pregnant and have breast cancer at the same time. So after 5 years oh wow, now we've been married 7 years. Maybe it's time we can start finally thinking about starting a family. So it was huge for us. My breast cancers were 19 years apart from each other. And this time it was chemotherapy. So I did chemotherapy for 4 months, 5 months. And then I had a double mastectomy on top of that. So that was 2015 that I went through that. My emotions during that period of time, during my second diagnosis with cancer, was all over the place. Going through chemo, I think, is one of the hardest things that anybody can go through, because your mind is still really sparse. Your mind is still really good, but your body is failing you. As they put the chemo drugs inside of you, they're killing you to keep you alive. So your body does not function the way that it used to. So it's very, very difficult to go through chemo. And then while I was going through chemo, I had also just had the double mastectomy while I was going through it. So you've just had major operations, and now you're going through chemo. So definitely I felt just overwhelmed, out of sorts, exhausted, sick, a whole realm of emotions. Absolutely. After I'd gone through breast cancer the second time, I started Footprints in Pink in May of 2015. And the reason why I did that was because when I had been diagnosed, I was jobless. I was looking for a job, and I thought, oh my gosh, I am going to go bankrupt. I'm going to lose everything that I have had, because the average chemo session, one chemo session is $7,000, and I needed 4 of them. So right there is $28,000. That's just chemo. So forget all the other doctor stuff. And so I thought, how am I gonna do this? So I spent weeks and weeks and weeks at a computer finding out information on the internet as to where I could get my copays paid, where I could get cold caps, where I could get financial aid, where I could get my medication paid for, where I could get everything. So I ended up thinking, wow, I wonder if people know about all this information that's out there for people that are going through breast cancer. And I thought to myself, breast cancer is such a horrible thing. I have spent weeks and weeks and weeks doing this, and most people don't have weeks and weeks and weeks to do this. It would be great to build an organization that would be able to hand over this information to somebody right away, versus spending the time doing it they should be spending the time with their family, with their doctor in treatment versus, having to look for that information. So that's exactly how Footprints in Pink started. So it took me almost a year to come up with the concept and really how I wanted to help people. So in May 2016, I started to apply to become a 501c3. And it was not until July of 2017 did we receive the great information that we were approved as a 501c3. So it really takes quite some time to do the application, figure out what your goals are, figure out who you want to serve, how you're going to serve. I knew what the vision of Footprints in Pink was going to be for me, but I wanted somebody that would be interested in that vision as well. And one of the people on our board does our bookkeeping. The other one helps us with our social media. One person helps us with our fundraising. Another person helps us with our volunteers. So each one of them has a specific role with the mission of Footprints in Pink. Footprints in Pink provides information to women nationwide that are going through breast cancer, whether it be for financial reasons, whether it be products and services, whether it be information on your family, maybe how to tell your child that you have cancer. So we provide information. And what we do is we send you information either via email or we send it to you in the mail of places that are on the web that they can find. Then the patient then can go and pick and choose which places they want to do. And we also do this nationwide. So somebody can call me up from Miami, Florida and say, hey, I was just diagnosed, and I will do the research for them, or Footprints in Pink will do the research for them and find that, hey, there's this place in your neighborhood, there's this place in your neighborhood, there's this place in your neighborhood. So we do that. We also partner up with an organization in Mesa, Arizona that sends out free chemo caps. So they are caps that are made out of Relay for Life t-shirts. They also hand out crocheted breast prosthesis so that when people are going through breast surgery. They also hand out breast pillows after the surgery. So we partner up with them as well. And we also hand out a very big binder because cancer creates paperwork. And it's very, very easy to become disorganized very quickly. So we have a binder that we give out to our patients for free that has 13 different folders in it. That way you can keep track of when you last took your medications. You can keep track of your insurance. You can keep track of information for your doctor. When you go to your doctor's appointment, you can take that with you. And that way when the doctor says, when was the last time you took this or what was your symptom, you have it right there. The average doctor appointment is about 7 minutes long. So that's very, very short for somebody that's been immediately diagnosed with breast cancer that have lots of questions. So I've spent many hours with people on the phone nationwide who have talked to me and said, what is chemo like? When am I going to lose my hair? What mouthwash should I use while I'm going through chemo? What is the difference between, a partial mastectomy and a double mastectomy? Where can I get a free wig? So all that information is not available to them during that 7-minute doctor period. So immediately they can give me a call and we can get them on track, because I feel like answers for people that are going through breast cancer are very important. They may not know the questions to ask, but what we do is we say, you're now with us from the time that you call us and through your recovery. And recovery sometimes happens almost a year after chemo. So we are here for those questions. We sort of adopt them for the year that they may be going through treatment and then the year after. So that way, if they don't even know what questions to ask, but let me email Footprints in Pink. So we have this ongoing relationship with them. We don't just hand them the information and say, good luck. It is definitely a relationship that we help so that we make sure that they're getting the information through their treatment and recovery. We are a unique nonprofit. If you were to call up the American Cancer Society and say, what resources do you have? The American Cancer Society is going to give you American Cancer Society resources. What Footprints in Pink does is that we provide you with multiple resources. So we're going to say, hey, there's American Cancer Society, there's City of Hope, there's this, there's this, and that way you can choose what you want. So we're unique in that aspect that we are able to give you multiple resources. The first thing I would tell somebody that Skypes me that has just been diagnosed with breast cancer is the first question I ask them is, how are you? How are you? Because as being somebody that's going through it, the most important thing I can do is listen to what they're saying. And then I ask questions. The questions that I ask them with just a simple question is, how are you? Creates questions on what they need. And then we go from there. I don't try to overwhelm them with, hey, I have 20 lists of this and 20 lists of that. That's just overwhelming. Cancer is overwhelming enough. So sometimes I only send them maybe a list of 5 things from the very beginning. But the first question I ask them is, how are you? When a donor calls, I would ask them if they had ever been affected, if somebody in their family or mother or sister or aunt has ever been affected by breast cancer. I would tell them that breast cancer happens every 2 minutes. Somebody is diagnosed. And it also happens to 1 out of every 8 women. And Footprints in Pink is a unique nonprofit organization that helps women get the resources that they need. First of all and foremost, we want to make sure that our website is out there so people can find us. Second of all, we want to be able to mail the resources that we offer to people with no charge. Plus anything that we do is no charge. So when we expand our services, we want to make sure that we have the money to do so. Any donation to Footprints in Pink is greatly appreciated. This year we actually sold for the first time little tiny pink feet, and they were about this big and they were only $1. And they were so well received in Santa Clarita. So next year we want to sell them nationwide. And on the little pink feet, you can put your name, or you could say, great job, Mom, or whatever. And you can put them in your business or in your home. But any donation, $1, $10, $100, $200 would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching.